Hello, everybody. Welcome to Honors Practice about Snell's Law. Today, I'm going to be talking about the index of refraction and how we can calculate how our angles change as we move through different mediums. So let's start out by talking about what we mean when we say the term medium. I know we talked a bit about that when we were looking at waves, but when we talk about a medium, what we're saying is a different type of substance, right? And so you can see here all these different materials. These are all examples of medium. So air, water, benzene, diamond, oil, specific salt water, sugar water like we saw in the video. Those are all different mediums. And whenever we go from one medium to another, the angle that light comes in will change. And so um, every different object has its own index of refraction, and that index of refraction is specific to its own medium. So, for example, you can see here at the bottom right here, we've got refraction indices, and you can see this is true for air. N is always going to be equal to 1 no matter what air you're dealing with, no matter what angle you're coming into. And so that's why medium is so important, is because if you know the medium, you can look up in a table to find the index of refraction, and then you can actually calculate the angle from there. And when we talk about angles, so that covers, if you look at this big equation up here, that covers our first N1 and N2. So if we know the materials, we can figure out what N1 and N2 are. The other two terms that we need to figure out are theta 1 and theta 2. So theta 1 and theta 2 is super important because they're measured from this line right here. And this line is called the normal line, and it runs perpendicular to the two mediums, right? And so a lot of people like to measure the theta right here, and that's a really common mistake. Try to avoid that, or please avoid that, because if you measure your angle from that side, you'll get the incorrect answer. So you need to make sure you're looking at the medium right here and looking at the two angles. And the two key terms you need to know are what called two different angles. You have the angle of incidence and the angle of refraction. And so the angle of incidence is just the angle coming in, and the angle of refraction is the angle going out, both measured from the normal. And so using these equations, if you don't have one of these, right? Say you have two indexes and your first angle of theta, you can manipulate this equation to figure out what that theta is. And in the next videos, I'll show you how to do that such that we can figure out what theta 2 is, or figure out n if we're missing one of those variables. Thank you. Have a good one.